Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Wait,
Here we are.
Is that girl on the season? Who is that?
Yes, that's Lindsay. That's Lindsay. Shane is pointing to Lindsay on the monitor behind me. This is Rob Cisterino. We are live here tonight.
I have no idea who Lindsay is. That's probably not good for Lindsay.
It's not great for her.
Okay.
This is the darkest timeline. It's the worst case scenario. We are here, and Shane, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's not. We got to stop with the whole. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened.
It's not the worst thing that ever happened, but it was the worst thing that's happened this week.
Sure. It was. How about this? Not even that. It was the worst thing that happened yesterday.
Worst thing that happened yesterday.
For sure. Oh boy.
Yeah. Here we are. Shane is here at my house, and am I in any danger that you're going to burn my house down?
You are. I am not. You are not in any danger.
Good.
It's. I'm actually going to come with something that's interesting. Because most people find I give most people the caricature of myself, right? Because I think everybody has two people, and they have the show, and then they've got the real guy. And I give especially the Survivor people, I give them all the show. Tonight, I'm going to give them. I'm going to give everybody the real guy.
Yeah,
as much as I can. I'm going to bust your balls a lot. Obviously,
that's fine. That's what people want.
And and so I also, because I do this for a living too. I do a radio show. I don't want to take over the conversation. You're the guy. I'm very proud of you. You have a very nice home. It's in the middle of nowhere, but you have a nice house, and the kid looks happy. He's got toys everywhere.
Yeah,
your wife looks great, and we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Okay, take us through last night when you're there. Do you want to start with? Can you tell us a little bit about like being
I'll take
there?
You through the whole thing.
Yeah, take us through
the whole experience, because they locked us up on Tuesday night. You have to understand that this is. I listened to your guys' podcast the night before.
Yeah,
I was locked up in the hotel. I got there at about 10:30, and I had anxiety. I was like, okay, this is all starting. This is all happening, but I didn't have any anxiety about not getting on.
Okay.
I was just like, okay, we're getting close. We can get into some other information later because people were pre-gaming.
Yeah.
And so there's all that going on, but I'm in the thing, and there's this anxiety ridden. And you've also, if you haven't gone through the show, it's about a 3-month process. And the closer and closer you get to getting on the show, you have to start to ramp down your real life.
Yeah.
Like you have to start getting all these, you have to get all the loose ends tied up. And it's a really important time for my job. And so being down for 60
your rent
days,
has to get paid. Your car insurance has to get paid.
All this is good. And then, but also you have to start to kind of emotionally disengage from your real life, because you're headed into this other parallel universe.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot out of somebody. It took a lot out of me. I don't know about anybody else. So I've closed off the world. I'm locked up into the hotel room. I'm listening to your thing. You're talking about the election results, the straw poll stuff. We still had our phones. I was looking at the exit polling, and I'm like 95, 92, or whatever the Reddit was.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I mean, there's just no way that I'm not on.
Yeah.
Then I start listening to you, and you kind of bum me out a little bit. You're like, bubble. And you kept telling me bubble. And I was like, and this is where I guess the delusion on my part comes in, because I'm like, okay, hold on. It's been 10 years since I've been on. I was a wild character. I was one of the very first like character-driven guys on the show. There had been a lot of close calls. This is now the fans, and it's a second chance. I'm thinking to myself, if there's anybody that deserves a second chance more that hasn't already played once, I would have put myself right where the voters did.
Yeah.
So you freaked me out, because you're like bubble guy, and I was like, okay, this is strange, but he's out of his mind. This fucking guy doesn't know what he's talking about. We wake up, I order a bunch of root beer floats, I'm making jokes. I get up, we go to the thing, and the weird thing is that they put us all. We're all in the hotel. And then they put 32 people on a van.
Yeah,
and it's all of us.
Yeah, and
they drive you to.
And you had to have hated that.
I didn't hate it, because it was the first time I was around their energy, and you've been locked up, and you're this whole thing, you're excited because you're getting ready to start, and you've been on the show, so you know that like just interacting with people, and even though you can't talk, it's your energy and the thing, and making people laugh, and your eyes, and you're starting the game, and the energy on the, and again, when these people come off, by the way, no one will care about it after they come off, but to a man, everybody on that bus thinks I'm going.
Yeah.
That's at least how I feel.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how, I mean, everyone
Right.
is looking at me like, so we get off the thing, we go into a green room, and then you have to sit around for like 5 or 6 hours in this green room. They get you in a wardrobe, this, that, and the other. And you can just vibe everybody's energy. Like there's people that are, you know, like Spencer, you could vibe. He knows he's a lock.
Mhm.
There's Vetus, who you know is a lock. There's the cast broad, you know.
Yeah.
But there's energy going on there where people, because you spend 6 hours in a room, you start to vibe everybody.
Mhm.
And there's some people that are really, you can just tell they're bummed.
Yeah.
And I, on the other hand, I was walking around feeling like Cass and Spencer. Like
Yeah.
the last thing on my mind is that I'm going to get clipped. So, and I feel like everyone else in the room, because you move around, I'm moving around, I'm smoking every 5 minutes. You're watching the show, you're laying around, you kind of make people giggle. And I think everybody to a person in the room is like, there's no way this guy's not getting on. And then they take you out for the rehearsal. And this is where I got the first bad sign.
Yeah.
This is where I knew I could have had some trouble, was they were walking you through and to sit you down, and they were rehearsing how it was all going to go down. And when I saw my seat, and I was seated next to Jeremy, and in front of me is Spencer, the man buns,
Joe,
and Brad.
Yeah.
I'm doing that little weird math as far as production goes, and I'm thinking, okay, this is not good for me, because Jeremy's recent. He's a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
He was interesting. He's black. Like there's a lot going on for Jeremy,
yeah.
right? And so I'm looking at this 5 of us going, holy shit, Brad and I could be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get into my head about it. And then I'm watching the rehearse come down, and I'm like, okay, there's Savage and the thing and the deal. So we go back to the room, and this is the first time I've been like, okay, something's bummed. This is a bummer. But I don't really think much of it. We get ready to go. We sit down. And then as it's happening, I'm watching it get called off. And the second Savage and Dietz both get called, and I look forward and I see Jeremy, Man Buns, and Spencer.
And are you keeping like a mental track? Okay, that's 6. Okay, that's 7.
Well, I'm doing the math.
Yeah.
As they're calling everybody up.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Terry and Savage go.
Right.
And I know these 3 are a lock.
Yeah, those 2 guys in front of you. Yeah.
The 2 guys in front of me, Jeremy, the Varner guy. I mean, so I know I'm fucked.
Yeah.
At that point, I know. So I'm waiting for the Grim Reaper to make his way down to cut my throat. But I knew I was done, because I think after Savage and Terry, he goes somewhere else first. He went to some chicks or something.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Steven and Wu, were they in there first?
Steven and Wu went up, and I knew I'm fucked. I know. Right. And so he comes to me and he looks up, and I'm like, I'm not going to give this guy the the satisfaction of looking at him. So I just looked away, and he said, "You're not on." And I was like, I look up at the crew, at the cast that's already picked, and I see like drop mouths, and I'm looking back at them going, I just have no idea how this is happening.
Yeah.
And because I had a pregame alliance, and with 4 of us total.
Yeah.
And that happens on an all-star season. They may not like it, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
Mine was good.
Yeah.
We were locked.
Yes.
We were in a good spot. I'll never tell you who that is.
Okay.
Because I'll let them do that, because I don't want to interrupt their game. But we were in a really good spot.
Okay.
From how I felt, because I looked around and I knew you can also vibe people's fear. Like I know some people that I think Sierra, without a doubt, is in an alliance.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there was because every person I talk to, it's like, I'm not doing the pregame alliance thing. I'm not
everyone's
doing
lying.
It. Yeah.
Everyone's reaching out. Right.
Yeah.
And hopefully, and I found my spot. I found exactly where I wanted to be. I thought it was innovative. I thought it was clever. I thought it was, we're going to see how it all flushes out, because clearly they're now out there, and they're going to, I would imagine, move forward with the plan. And that'll be really fun to watch, because I sort of manufactured the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so that'll be cool to watch. After people eat, because we were fed a couple of times, because it's not like you're constricted to where you're sitting. After people eat, I think they're at their most comfortable,
relaxed, right?
So I immediately started watching who was sitting next to each other right after they ate, and there were weird pockets of people that were sitting next to each other, and then you start to do the math. You're like, right, that's Sierra, and she's sitting next to Monica, and I'm doing the math, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, and then there's other people, but I don't want. And then there's the other people that are just lone birded out, and they haven't made it. Like Keith has made no alliance.
Okay.
Poor Jim Rice he wasn't even in the mode of thinking alliance. He's just hoping to God to get on the show.
Right.
T-Bird, I see my heart breaks because I'm going to take the weekend. Because I'm a human being, right? So the second there's disappointment involved. You've spent 3 months trying to get this cracking. This is the 4th or 5th time I've done this.
Yeah.
And I mean, basically America blindsided me, right? So America got the first, and no one really got blindsided last night except for me. So now America can rejoice in the fact.
No, I don't know. Well, especially the people that you're talking to tonight, the people that are listening to this, like nobody. You're talking to the people that are. This is like the concession speech that you're in the auditorium after the election was over, talking to your constituency.
Here's the deal. There's certainly a part of self-delusion on my part, thinking that my Survivor brand was bigger than it was. 100%. It's been 10 years. How about this? This is what I think has happened. There's the recency and the casual fans, whatever those are. They're like the Democratic Party, right? They're all not voting for me.
Okay.
And then there's the Republican Party, which are the hardcores.
Yeah.
And then the inside, there's the moderate Republicans who dig me, but are like, oh, he's an asshole. And then there's the Tea Party cats, who are hardcore obsessive all over me,
voting,
passionate about me. And what happened for me is that sect, because they're the loudest, they're the most passionate, they're the ones that are going to tweet 300 times a day. You're like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
I'm good. So what happened this is what I think happened. The casuals not in, half the hardcores were not in. But I have my beautiful little passionate core of people who really kind of get me or enjoy my antics and like my sardonic sense of humor, and they didn't get me in. I mean, they didn't get me through. That's what I think happened.
Yeah. I think that makes the most sense.
I don't think there's any conspiracy theories. I don't think there's any
conspiracy theories, because from what I heard, production was not happy about this. Like, this was like from talk. I went to the after party last night. I heard from people who, people who talked to Lynn, people like on the production side are all like this was bad. Like
I have 2 relationships.
Yeah.
With the production people. I have Lynn, who's incredible.
Yeah.
Lynn and I have been not best friends, but
good friends. Yeah.
Insofar as Survivor Land, she's my best friend in Survivor Land, not in my real world. But we've gone through this.
Not me.
Not you.
Okay.
You're close. You're a family. You're a Survivor. I mean, I think that. But by the way, I also think I've done you really right. I don't talk to anybody else. No one else is getting anything. People called. I was like, never. Entertainment Weekly knows not even to. I don't give anybody content except for you. And in this small little pocket world of Survivor, it
does not go unappreciated.
I mean, how about this? Would you rather me move to Mertz or Survivor Oz? I've been very loyal to you. I for no reason other than the fact that I respect you.
And I don't want anybody to think that I tell you like, hey, like this is not like Leno Letterman 1992 or anything like that. You do whatever you want.
I do whatever I want, and the bottom line is that you have earned my respect, and I will only go here because I respect what you've done.
Yeah,
and you're the best at it. I mean, the rest of these people, I can't.
Yeah, well, we don't have to talk about.
Okay, great. Let's move on. What do you need?
Okay.
The production was pissed. Lynn and me are very good friends in my Survivor Land. She has done this 4 or 5 times with me. She's not in it to try and bum me out. Like, she really wants me to get back on the show. The thing about Jeff, right? And this is purely conjecture, but I've bust Jeff balls a lot because I feel like I don't have any contact with him. We don't talk. I think the day that I got clipped for Russell, years ago on Heroes vs. Villains, I got drunk. I was in bed, I was hammered, and I called him and was like, "You're a fucking asshole," and we hung up. And that was the only time I've talked to him. Right?
So you just called up Jeff Probst on the phone.
I got clipped, and then months went by, and I had gotten drunk, and me being drunk is never good.
Yeah.
And I was on a big drunken run, and I watched some preview special of Heroes versus Villains, and I was wasted. And I somehow, I don't know how I had Jeff Probst's number, but I either texted him or called him. I was in a blackout, and I was just like, "You're a fucking asshole, and I can't believe you did this, you fuck." And I went after him.
Wow.
And that's the only time we've ever talked. Now, I bust his balls on social media all the time, too. And like 3 weeks ago, Julie Berry, we had hit up a tweet, and I was like, she was like, "God, I wish I could go back out there with you." She tweeted me, and I replied, "You shouldn't have fucked the boss."
Yeah.
Right? So
this was on Twitter
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So that's funny to me, right?
Yeah.
For me, and this is, I think that Jeff would have the same sense of humor. He seems to be a guy who would be in on the joke. If he isn't, and he's petty, and he personalizes that, then I'm fucked.
I feel like that's like, if this was like a text message, like I think that I bet he would see the humor in that, but probably not on Twitter. Like,
well, anyway, and how about this? I'm never going to stop being me.
Right.
And the bottom line is that if I'm that deep into the thing and it's good for the show,
I don't think that's the difference between getting on and not.
No,
getting
he's smart enough to go, it doesn't matter what this guy does because he's going to be good for the show that I now partly own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for Jeff to not put me on the show. And I also think somebody close in his camp reached out to me last night because I put up a tweet like, unless Jeff is, because I was confused. I hadn't worked out the math in my head. And I said, maybe Jeff's being petty. A source close to him hit me up on like a direct message and said, "I promise you that's not what's going on." And I believe that.
Here's what I think where you got screwed. So they put out this thing, okay, Survivor Second Chance. It's a vote. Fine print. Producers are going to have the final say. People went on social media and said, like, "This is why," and then Jeff came out and said, "Whoa! We went to our lawyers. Like we voted out the lawyers. This is all on the fan ballot."
Do you believe that? You don't believe that.
You're sitting here with me.
Right. I don't. There's no way there's no way that they're giving up power of the final casting to America. Not because of me, but because it could have just gone south 15 different ways. I also and listen, you can take something off the internet and say we changed it. You know what I mean? And there's not going to be that many calling for the contractors, the legal A's. So no. Do I think that I think that the people didn't vote for me and I came in. Out of those 16 people, actually 15, I came in 12th or 13th or 14th out of those 12 people. So I guess that makes sense. Or I think that CBS, it's not Jeff being petty. CBS might have been like, we need an Asian, we need a black guy, because they definitely don't want to go out looking like Whiteville.
Well, I mean, that hasn't stopped them before. I mean, but as far as diversity goes, you have PG out there, you have Tasha, you have Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Like I just can't imagine that they were that concerned about, hey, we need this is going to look really bad if we don't have Wu out there.
Yeah,
or
you know
if we
what? How
don't,
about this? I don't think that either. I don't. I think what happened was that I came in 12th or 13th. I mean, I think that I didn't get enough votes. So that's what I think happened.
I agree, but I feel like if that clause was still in there and they could, and production was going to say like, hey, this is just a recommended cast from America, and we'll have the final say.
You think they would have put me in?
I think so, but I think that maybe they might have put, or I think that they could have put Brad in there too. Like it seems like a couple of these guys that we know are going to be good TV that don't make the cut.
Right.
And a couple of people that are, I don't know if they're going to be great TV.
And
I don't want to,
No, as I work through it, and believe me, I'm not that far away from it, but as I work through it, I didn't get voted on. That's what happened.
Yes, I agree.
Period, the end. So.
And I think that one of the things that ended up happening was that people voted for, like the mass audience voted for good guys. They voted for all the nice guys.
Okay.
You know, I think that everybody that gets voted and anybody that had a little bit of being either a jerk or mean or something like that, although those are the guys that didn't get on.
Is Survivor, is it family entertainment?
I think so. It's 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
CBS.
It's white people in Indiana.
Yeah.
It's
Middle
older
America.
folks.
Yeah.
So it is family entertainment. So I'm never going to poll well with family entertainment.
Yeah.
I'll pull well better at 11:30.
Yeah, and you played on a season with all really likable people. Like you were there with Sari, you were there with Terry, you were there with Aris. You were like all like the baby face, good guy people, and you were the unsavory character with those people.
I'm so savory to myself. Lovely. I'm a savory man.
Yeah.
How about this? I want to talk about, because here's the thing. I'll talk shit about people and I have fun because no. I mean, not right now, but I mean, like when I went on your interview a couple weeks ago, I talked shit about some people because I'm talking shit about their persona or what I've seen on social media. That being said, the second you have a heartbeat, like I meet you personally, it's hard for me. Because I'm not a bad guy.
You met all these people now?
I met all these people yesterday. I mean, I didn't meet them because we didn't get to speak. But I am so bummed for Jim because he's heartbroken.
Yeah.
Like his heart is broken.
I talked to him last night. Yeah.
He is he's heartbroken. And I don't know how long it's going to take for that guy to get over this. Right. And that makes me sad for him. The T-Bird girl, I don't know her, but my heart is broken for her because she wanted it.
Yeah.
Bad. My heart is not broken for me. I bury myself. I put myself in major positions of I don't want any. That's the other thing is that I'm sorry, Shane, and I hate. Don't feel, not one person out there should feel sorry for me.
No. Can I ask you a question? I don't really know why you wanted to go back. Like, I feel like a lot of times what I say about Survivor is for people who don't have anything else better going on.
Well, I think, or they're in a crossroads in their life.
Yes, or it's gonna be something. But you're a guy.
Their career.
Yeah.
Or
and you're a guy. You've done well. You don't seem like you want for much. Why would you go through this aggravation again?
Because, and I was talking about this with my woman. It's this weird emotional tick now that I have with this show. It's the 12-year-old kid who's like, why can't I get back on, or why don't they want me again? It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. I can't believe that. Why do you guys not like me? Why can't I get back on? There's that little 12-year-old kid in me that has that tick going on. And then there is no experience in the world that can replicate it. Right. Yeah. It's like a demented vacation with throwing $1 million into the mix to bring out the very worst in human beings.
Yes.
Like, to me, that sounds like an amazing vacation.
Yeah.
Not to my girl, probably not to you.
Right.
To me, it's the tick.
But you also don't like we've talked about this, and I think you had a quote on one of the interviews that we did, like the person with the lowest moral code will always win this game.
Correct.
And you don't like that part of the game, correct?
I don't like that part of the game. However, I think that there's a way to play. I think there's a way to play the game and not do that. Like, there's a difference between the game and there's a difference between dirty. And as I get older, it's less and less of a drag that I've ever been on the show again. That being said, there's a different, like Tyson when he won his Blood versus Water, and he's a sweet kid. I've met him.
Great guy.
Sweet kid. He played within the realm of what I think is decent. Like, he fucked some people over, but you didn't like. It's the dirty part where the Vlachos and the swearing on your thing. And again, that's what makes the game great. Everyone has a different idea of what's okay and what's acceptable and what isn't. Right. That being said, I think there's a way to play the game and not forego your own moral code, and you can win. It's a fascinating endeavor. I am definitely done. Yeah. There's no way. There's nothing they could say. There's nothing they could do. This was a really wonderful decade trying to get back on this thing, but I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Exhausted. So
if they said you're definitely on, not a vote.
No, they've done this before.
Yeah.
Just for the history, the fans versus favorites was right after 12. I was like, I can't, I'm coaching. Heroes versus villains, clip the day before.
Right.
Eat a dick, everybody. Go suck, fuck you, Lynn, you're a cunt. Like the whole thing. 3 years later, they're like, your bag's packed.
Yep.
Oh, that was the first, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That was the first thing Lynn said to me. She's like, hey, it's Lynn. Don't hang up. Your bag's packed.
For what? For this?
For Ozzy coach.
Okay.
That season.
Okay.
I believe that Ozzy was the replacement. I believe it was going to be zany coach Shane.
Yeah.
I was too drunk to make it on because I was in a 2-year blackout.
Yeah.
So I didn't get on for that. Blood versus Water a year ago, I said never. And then this one, just it all felt very right. Second chancers. I did everything I could. I'm in the best headspace I've ever been in, and this didn't work out. So it's not really. I'm not a big meant to be guy, but I definitely can't imagine ever Lynn calling me and me going, "Oh yeah, I want to sign up for this again."
Yeah,
because I thought for sure this thing was rigged for me to get on.
Yeah.
If anything, with the fan vote, and again that leads into my delusional nature of he's the one guy we got to see again. Well, clearly that was not the case.
It wasn't how enough people were voting of who's going to be good TV. It was who do I like? Who do I?
Right, but even in the 10 years, I'm delusional enough to think that people would fuck that guy. I want to see that guy again, whether I hate him or love him. He's
yeah.
That's not how it played.
Talk to me about some of the people that got on. Are you excited for Terry?
I'm so happy for Terry. How about this? The other thing, and I think this guy probably bumped me out, is Savage.
Yeah.
Super happy for Savage.
Yeah.
I listened to his I don't know this guy. I've never spoken to this dude. We're totally different creatures. Just like Terry and I.
Yeah.
When I listened to his interview with you, there was a haunting in him
and
a sadness and an absolute emotional need to do this again for him. Right. Yeah. So I'm happy that that's going to happen for him. And I only hope that he doesn't, I hope that he needed, because I think he's got a pretty good life too, this guy.
Oh yeah.
I hope that this fills his need or gets rid of that haunting in him, because he seems like a lovely guy.
What do you think would be worse, to not get on or to go on? Somebody's going to be the first boot. Somebody's going to be the second boot. Somebody's going to be the third boot. The people that go on, and this is their second chance, and then it doesn't go well. Is that going to be worse than the people who didn't go on and just got to, okay, let me just go back to my life and not go through now, take off these 2 months and go out there and then.
I mean, to fight like you did, get voted on, and then go.
Because one of these people is going to win, and one of these people is going to be the first person off.
It's going to have to sit there for 36 days. I
Yeah.
hope it's the Joe kid, or
Why do you hope it's Joe?
Because he didn't really take this very seriously. He seems like a sweet kid too.
Yeah.
But he didn't take this he kind of he was a little bit careless with it. Like, he knows he's getting on. There's this Jim Rice guy who's just destroyed.
Right.
And so I would like it that he goes out first. Plus, I don't think he's got it. He can't win it.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Nobody's going to let him get close to that money.
No one's going to let him win it.
Yeah.
No chance.
Especially after what we just saw him do. Wait, tell me this. When you're sitting there in that room and Shireen is talking about in that final tribal council, hey guys, just so you know, I made my first million when I was 25, and that didn't matter to me.
Clearly, she's not doing that on the tribal council, thinking that she's coming
Of
back.
Course not.
Right?
Of course not. I'm sure
She
she was
can't
like, oh, I hope
fault
they
her
don't
for
put that
having-
in there. I hope they don't put that in there. But when you're sitting there,
you can't fault her for having that conversation.
oh no, I'm
3
not
months
faulting
before
her. I'm
something
not
happens.
faulting her. I'm saying when you're sitting there in the room, though, is
no, I think there's
like,
a way to maneuver that. I think you can maneuver around that.
Okay,
if you're on
but
the
in
island
the
and I have
green
millions
room,
of dollars,
like when she says that, it's like
no. I think people were like, there might have been a little bit of mumbling, but I don't think that there was listen, that's not what the whole money thing nowadays is. Not, you can win and have a lot of money.
Yeah. When Jeff Probst is really, sucking kneecaps on Joe, going like within like the first 5 minutes of the reunion show,
we were lined up. I didn't hear that.
Okay.
We were getting ready to move, and I'm sure Jeff has his guys, and if Savage, I'm sure that, like, how about this? If there was any kind of a rig or this, that, and the other, if Savage if I've been very good friends with you for over 12 years,
yeah,
and I've looked you in the eyes and you've been helpful to me in my life, okay, then he deserves to have an in. He does. If I'm the executive producer of a show and you've looked after me for a very long time and we're friends and there's a way for me to, that's called nepotism. That's not a bad thing. I don't think anybody should be mad at Savage for that. It just has worked out in the way that's worked out. Who get, and by the same token, people that have like busted on Jeff's balls, right?
Yeah.
It's choice consequence. Possibly the consequence is if Jeff has any control over who gets in and who doesn't, I could be fucking tossed out because I bust his balls. So everyone's got to live with their choices. And I'm very happy with the choices that I've made. I've had a wild, fun life. This experience is clearly this weird tick. And I'm really exhausted with it all. There's no way I go back.
Yeah. How exhausting has just the 2 weeks of this campaign been?
Well, the 2 weeks of the campaigning was not that hard. I'm on social media a lot anyway, so I just directed all of my thoughts towards Survivor stuff, and so that part wasn't easy. That part was not hard at all. The pre-gaming,
yes,
was the hardest part for the last 2.5 weeks. The alliance,
of talking to all
pre-game alliance. Everyone
of the 32 people, and you don't have to tell me names.
Sure.
Of the 32, could you give me a number of the people that you spoke with? Something about alliance.
Well, I'll tell you this. I didn't reach out to anyone because I didn't want to be the guy reaching out to anyone.
But people got your number.
Because that puts you
yes.
in a weaker position.
That was my advice to everybody is don't answer the phone, but don't make any outgoing calls.
I was reached out to by 26 of the 30.
Wow.
Whether it's through the DM, Facebook, and because of, the sicko fans, the guys that are really active, I think have put... There was people were attracted to whatever that guy, this is the guy who needs to be I got reached out by everybody, and there was, there was some mechanics involved, and I had a choice of who I kind of wanted to bring this up with. And
can you give me an example? What constitutes a pre, like somebody reaches out like, hey,
DMs, hey, what's going on?
You excited?
Yeah. Or or Cass, saying, hey, why don't we work out a Final Five deal? I'm like,
Final Five?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. What are you talking about? Final Five? She was panicked.
Okay, so Cass was big into
all over the map, everywhere, all over the place. Like, I didn't hear from Sierra. I didn't hear from Spencer.
Yeah.
I didn't hear from...
The people that you didn't hear from,
Kelly Wentworth.
Did that scare you more than the people? Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if I'm not hearing from them, it doesn't mean they're not talking. It just means they're not talking to me.
Yeah.
Because the Survivor, and again, if Jeff or Lynn don't want to, if they don't want this to be happening, they need to not announce the 32 people that are going back 2 weeks and because they want it both ways, right? They want 32 people out there slamming social media for advertising and marketing the show, but then to tell people they're not allowed to talk or pregame is ridiculous. Yeah, because it would be you got 32, you got 20 people that you want to put on an island to do this with. Of course, their nature is going to be to try and reach out and figure out what to do.
Yeah.
So were those people? I didn't talk to the Spencer, Tasha, Sabrina, and God bless her heart. What a strong lady. I know that woman had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And my heart is broken for her too. I really hope that she's doing okay. We didn't get to talk, Sabrina, but you seem like an absolutely lovely human being. Yeah. I'm really sorry for whatever's going on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know she has a lot of stuff going on in these couple of weeks of the campaigning. I don't really know. I don't even know the whole story.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I've heard there's been loss in the family and to have that going on, and if I've got loss going on in my family, I'm just like, fuck off. I'm out.
Right.
The idea that she came, she showed up, she sat there to get told no, brutal. I have nothing much respect for her.
All right, so Terry, you're excited for him.
Very excited.
Can Terry win?
Terry can win. I think. Terry's not. I don't know. Terry's going to need a brain. You know what I mean? Like he can. Not that Terry's not smart.
Yeah.
Because
but he wasn't good. Like I rewatched Panama as part of like I've that's super nerdy. I watched all the seasons like in the last year. That Terry, he's great at the challenge. He's a great leader. Like he can rally a tribe. But when it comes time to when it came time to that merge, and like he was really bad at like these deals he was trying to make with people.
Right, but you have to understand where Terry comes from, right? Terry comes from a military background where it's impounded in you that you're in a chain of command. So you're either taking orders or you're giving orders, but you're not ever asked, if you're in the military, to think outside the box. So you've got a 55-year-old guy who's not used to creatively thinking. He's a very direct guy. Like, so he either needs to be led or he needs to be followed, but he's definitely not coming up with new ideas. And that doesn't make him dumb. It just means that this game is not all that fitted for the way that his brain works.
And he'd be a great guy to work with because he's going to be super loyal.
He's going to be super loyal.
You don't have to worry about him.
Where you need to go. He's going to work hard. He's going to make you the best camp ever. And at the end of the day, the single most valuable thing on that island is trust. And if that guy gives you trust, you're gold. Yeah. It's the single biggest commodity for sure. I think he's got a shot to get deep. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit. Also because I have, I know I got, I know where he's at in the game right now.
Does he need to keep the other physical threats in the game so that they say, hey, let's vote out the people that are voting out the physical threats? Or is it better for Terry to get out all of the people that are going to be, hey, let's take out the physical threats?
I think, no. I think that, and again, I don't know anything about this part, but I think Savage and Deeds could end up being bros. And if those two guys bro out, they could blow. I mean, they literally could, no one could stop them.
Yeah.
They could literally win every challenge for it all depends on how they get set up. Again, this is another thing in Savage's favor because I know that Probst is not putting his boy out there in any kind of a bad look.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to bury him with like 14 like emotional crackpots. And that is all within the.
How do you think they're going to break this down? Yeah. Do you have any sense of?
I have no idea. I haven't heard. I've heard 2 camps. When they get to 18, it goes to 3.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what that would mean.
Yeah. So start with, they're going to start with 20, 2 tribes of 10, and then vote 18, off 2 people,
they break into
and
3
then go
groups of 6.
Okay.
And that's, again, I don't know that. That's what I heard.
That's an interesting way to go.
Sure.
That'd be fun. Okay. So what else do you want to talk about? I got people asking questions. You want to take some questions?
I feel pretty good. I feel I appreciate this because this is all good for me because I'm in the process mode of unwinding and getting out of this because you got to hit the reset button.
And this is you're never going to talk about Survivor again.
I will not. I mean, clearly, if I'm watching the season, I'll shoot off a tweet, but I will not on any level. I'm not addressing this portion of my life ever again.
All right. So could you talk about the aftermath of after the show? They, the people that are, they got people.
I didn't stick around very long.
So what happens? You just walk out of the building?
The second, and I stuck around. I didn't leave right when I didn't get called. I sat there. They went to the commercial, then they shot them all down. They walked them up, get on the bus. And as they were walking down, I got up and left.
Yeah. Did you talk to anybody else from that group of 11?
No. You mean no. I literally got up, walked out during the middle of them leaving, the ones that got on, and I rolled to the PA. And the PA is like, okay, we're going to get you on the bus and take you back to the Sheraton LAX. I was like, go fuck yourself. I think that was the quote. Give me my fucking phone and give me my treats because you get a check for hustling for them. Because that was literally seconds after it happened. And I was like, no. You don't seem to understand. I'm not getting on a fucking loser bus to roll down to LAX 14 miles. Give me my shit. I'm out of here. And because I have a bag at LAX at the Sheraton and I'll get it later. Yeah.
Have you connected with anybody else from that group of 11 to sort of say?
I have not.
I saw a bunch of them last night at the that were out at the after party.
I'm sure they were having fun, and
no, they weren't having much fun.
They were not having fun.
No.
Were they drinking their sorrows away?
Jim was.
I don't understand how you could go through that. And again, I'm not a guy that's afraid, but you just heard that terrible news. You've just gone through 4 months. You've just on national TV been shit on. I'm gonna go hang out with the guys that are enjoying the victory of
Mm-hmm.
How does that even work?
Well, what else are you gonna do? Like, you live in LA, you can just go home.
I got a life.
Yeah, you can just go home. These people, they don't have any, like, they're not
this
from
is
here.
It for them.
Well, no, they're not just, this is it for them, but they're
got nowhere.
what are they gonna do? Go sit in the hotel room.
Got you.
Yeah. So for most of them, I mean, that they're out of towners. So what are you gonna do? Like, oh, you want to go to this party? Like, I think they were gonna buy them drinks or whatever.
Somebody was like, "Hey, you want to go to this thing?" I met that girl. She's very sweet.
Yeah.
Come to the thing. I was like, "What are you fucking crazy?"
Yeah.
And then that wild weirdo who I'm afraid of, that
Vince?
dude,
Vince,
that freak. He that guy is a freak.
Yeah.
He is a fucking freak.
Yeah. Why? What did he do?
He's just weird.
Yeah.
The Rodney dude seems like a lovely kid.
Nice guy.
Really sweet kid,
Yeah.
that kid. And I related to him because I think that he was able to get away with saying shit on the island like I was.
Mhm.
He's a really likable kid.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Dan was weird.
Yeah.
I was telling people I was going to go kill them and burn them in their shitty
Did
apartment.
that kind of stuff scare you? Of, like, you know, some of the stuff that you had done on your original season, like if you were, like, you know, calling out Courtney and telling her, I'm gonna come to your house, I'm gonna murder you or kill you,
Right.
whatever it was.
Sure.
And then if people took that the wrong way, and made it into a big case of
all,
Shane hates women or something like that.
First of all,
that
Dan,
would scare me if I was.
Dan is not the kind of person that has the charisma
Yeah.
to say that,
To pull that off
and get over on that. There's a certain kind of guy. The Rodney kid could say that, and people will be like, "Oh, it's just Rodney being Rodney." This guy is a fucking completely
he said
socially
last week,
awkward,
he's like, you know, I want my mom enough times. I want to wring her neck. Nobody cared. Nobody said anything about that.
Yeah, he's a very weird, awkward dude,
Mhm.
socially strange. And I'm not. There's two parts of the whole thing. It was beneath Jeff for him to even delve into this. The whole thing about it.
Yeah.
I feel like Will should have been dealt with harder.
Mhm.
They should have focused on that in that segment, other than Dan. But I think the worst thing ever, dude, is when a guy gets off and goes, "It was my edit."
Yeah.
My edit's terrible.
And
I'm not that guy in my edit. No, you are the edit. That's part of what you do. And I think Jeff probably was at the end of his rope
Mhm.
and was like, "I'm done with people."
They
fucking
were
complaining
obviously mad at Dan. You know, they were mad that he was saying.
I believe it was specific, and I have kind of information. I believe it's specifically because it's Jeff's show. Jeff wanted to prove a point.
Yeah.
And just say, "Hey, world, you want to complain about the edit again? This is what we'll do to you."
Yeah.
I'm done hearing about the edit. And I like the fact that Jeff is protecting the integrity of his property.
Yeah.
Right. And Dan deserved it.
Yeah.
You got shit. It was the edit. It was the edit. And then they show him and it isn't the edit. So what? Who are you? You sociopath? You
Mhm.
fucking weird old socially awkward creep.
Wow.
Well, no, but I mean, it's the guy, Will, we've got it on tape. Will, like, destroying that poor woman's character.
The difference is Will, whether you believe it or not, actually was like, you know, he apologized that Dan, you know, he apologizes too, but then he's always quick to, but however, and it doesn't.
I also think Will is really unsmart. Like on the Mendoza line of,
yeah.
I think that IQ is not high. That's from what I hear.
So,
that doesn't mean he's not a bad guy.
I can't speak to that. As far as his survivor IQ, it's not great.
Correct.
Yeah.
I hear he's not the sharpest guy in the building.
Yeah.
Ever. In any building.
So talk to me just about the spending the day with these 31 other people. Was there anybody that made a negative impression on you yesterday?
Tasha and I were sitting next to each other, and I kind of I kind of nudged in to kind of be playful and goof with her, like, "Hey," without talking, and we're in front of the people, the handlers, and she just gave me a scowl.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, she's not into the Shane show, which is great.
Yeah.
But then you start to, you know, but everybody else was really I didn't feel terrible for Natalie. I don't feel terrible for Michaela.
Yeah. They were upset last night too.
Well, they're young,
yeah,
and they're lovely, and they're gonna get over it. They're
yeah.
fine. They'll move on, and in 3 weeks, they'll be doing something, and they'll be having a blast. They'll be fine with life. This is a bummer for them for the moment. They're gonna be fine. I'm bummed for Jam and T-Bird because they may not come back from this. They could be headed over the edge into some fucking weird territory.
How was Steven doing yesterday?
Steven was fucking terrified he wasn't going to get on, but that's because that's where he comes from.
Yeah, but I had him as somebody, as you know, a lot of people said Steven was a lock, but I had Steven in somewhat of a similar boat as you in that.
No. He's got too much awareness. He's got too much connectivity to Survivor.
Yeah,
he was on a lock. I think that he's a New York Jew. So I think you guys.
He's actually from out here. That people think he's from New York.
Great, but he looks like it. I mean,
he lives in New York now.
And the stereotype. He's worries.
Yes.
He's neurotic.
Yes.
He's the New York Jew. He's the Woody Allen. That's what, you know what I mean? That's what I don't mean. Like, and again, if anyone wants to shit on me for that, go ahead. Because I don't give a fuck.
Steven's neurotic.
He's neurotic and worries. And he was literally, I was sitting across from him. He was vibrating.
Yeah.
No, but he was almost physically shaking.
Yes.
He was so scared.
But he was on the show, you know, not as far back as you were. He was on the show like 5-6 years ago. So it's not, he wasn't just on.
I'm sure he has a tendency to create worst case scenario and live in that because that's what the stereotype does. And the bottom line is that he worked himself up for no reason.
Yeah.
I think Wu was stoked. I don't think I vibed in that room. I vibed that Wu thought he was done.
Yeah.
So I think he was surprised.
He wasn't polling well from what we were seeing, but he was just on the show a year ago.
He polls at like 28%.
Yeah.
And I poll at 94.
Yeah.
And I'm out and he's in.
The
casual vote must have been enormous.
It must have been, you know, there was just so much that we don't know. And they didn't say how many people voted. That we never heard an official number.
I heard 10 million votes.
Yes.
From someone in an elevator, somebody high up.
But isn't that impressive? Don't you feel like they would have announced that if that was the case?
I don't know. Maybe, how about this? Maybe they were all blowing smoke up each other's asses and saying we got 10 million votes because it wasn't ballots.
10 million. I heard it was 20 million. Yeah. So we don't know.
Clearly, the hardcore
it was
fans,
substantial though.
Yeah, and clearly the hardcore fans were not driving the boat. It was the casual. I mean, the casual fans were driving the boat.
Yeah.
Or no?
I think that it was probably like a third internet people, because there were some people that were big on the internet that I can't imagine had big casual appeal that got on. PG, I can't imagine the casual fan said, you know, we're going to vote, you know, PG in and so I think that it was probably like if we were 25% and the casual audience was, 75%, I think that we had a say, but I think that the casual audience had a bigger say and are going to put Woo on, the Keith on and stuff like that. The people that we didn't have doing particularly well.
Troyzan's Sweet Man, had no alliance going with anybody. Was bummed.
Yeah, I talked to him last night.
You could tell the whole time he was freaked out. He wasn't going to get on. Seems like a super sweet man. They'll get him on.
Yeah,
he'll definitely get back.
All right, who's the first person out?
The first person out is Spencer, unless he's got himself locked up, which I think he does. I think
I'm worried about Spencer.
I think Spencer and Tasha and Sierra and Monica might have something cracking.
Yeah.
Pregame.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, he's in big trouble. Sierra, if she doesn't, is in big trouble. This is from what I know.
Yeah. Here's why I worry about Spencer. That he's just he's a young, they call him, he's a young lad. And I worry, like, there are a lot of grown-ups on this season. And grown-ups and seasoned Survivor veterans.
Yeah, he's in bad shape if he doesn't. Whatever he did out on for that Vlachos land is not going to fly.
But even on that season, he really never got anything going on his own. Like, he's a very smart guy and he knows the game, but it wasn't like he was wheeling and dealing. He was more like reacting to a lot of what Tony was doing.
And there's something to be said about being able to react well.
Yeah.
Into certain situations. But he's not smart. He's not as smart as he's not a mastermind game player.
Well, no, Well, I would
He
say
seems
that,
like a goofy, sweet
but
kid.
he's like a chess player. He really is a smart gamer, but I don't think he has the real world experience yet of dealing with people in their, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s.
Definitely he does not have a lot of life experience. You can tell it reeks off of him.
Yeah.
He seems very goofy and young.
Yeah. And like in person, he seems younger than he's
even more awkward. He's kind of, even his body's weird. And they put him in the fucking Charlie Brown outfit. It's literally, the guy looked like he raided Charlie Brown's wardrobe. I mean, the guy, and he's awkward. It's like he's Spencer Brown, Charlie's nephew or cousin.
So I worry about Spencer. I hope he does well. I do worry for him. So you think he's in trouble?
I think he's in trouble. I think Fishbach could be in trouble if he's not worked something out. I'm trying to think who else. Who can win? Or no,
tell me that. I'd love to know who you think is going to be out first, but also who's going to win.
I cannot tell you who I think can win because I don't want to blow anything up.
Right. So can you tell me? So you can't tell me who is in the mix that you could see as potentially a winner. Could you say that?
I can't.
Okay.
I can tell you this. I think that one of the 4 people I was involved with is going to win wholeheartedly.
So one of the 4 people. So you had something, a group of 5, or you were in a group of 4?
I was in a pregame alliance with 4 people.
Okay.
We were locked.
We
were quiet. We had a conference call about it.
Did those other 4 people all get on?
Everyone got on but me.
Okay.
The other 3 people got on.
Wait, the other 3 people?
No, there was 4 of us. We were not going to go 5.
It was a group of 4.
5 is too many
mouths.
The other
3 got on.
Yeah, we went 4, and we were initially 3. We reached out for 1 more. We were all good with those 4. We had a conference call. We figured out everything we were going to do.
Conference call?
Well, no, the 4 of us. We even figured out if like 3 of us end up on one tribe, 1 ends up on the other. Does the 3
throw the challenge?
3 throw the challenge to help the guy alone with the 1 get his feet? Like we were very much up in the game.
Wow.
And I will not say anything more than that because I absolutely believe that one of those 4 people's winning.
Okay. All right. Let me let's take some questions here. Okay.
Sued for any of this shit? I can't.
Well, what did you say?
I didn't say anything, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it'd be great for me if they sued me.
Okay.
Let this corporate. I haven't given away any trade secrets. I've just been talking about break. I guess is that in the rules that you can't pregame? I don't think it is.
I don't know. You signed like a lengthy.
Yeah, I mean, but how about this? Yeah, what are you gonna do? Come sue me. The idea I would blow that up on my radio show tomorrow. CBS corporate conglomerate behemoth.
Yeah.
CBS sues Freak.
Can you tell people have been following you for weeks? They're crying. We don't get to see Shane. We don't get to hear Shane.
You got to understand.
You were on the radio 5 days a week,
Monday through Friday.
How could people hear you?
Well, how about this? I don't want to. I'm not the guy. I'm not a shill.
But tell people, if people are dying to hear from you.
I'm not a shill. Like, I hate people that go on to promote something. I came on here to have a talk with you about this game.
That's fine. But
find me on Twitter, the Shane Powers, and you'll be able to track whatever. I have a very big following on a morning radio show.
Yeah.
It's way ahead of its time. It's an application. It's called Dash Radio. And what happens is it's basically Sirius, but for your phone. You plug it right into your car, and it's got 80s, 90s, soul, rock, folk, Christian, and I have the talk radio show. I'm this Howard Stern of Dash Radio.
Okay.
And it's called The Shane Show. You click on it, channel, and it runs 24
app
hours
is
a day.
Dash Radio.
Dash Radio.
Okay.
Live 4 to 6 every morning for the morning drive in New York, and then we loop the show 24 hours a day on the channel.
Okay. All right. Let's take a couple of these questions. This is from Game Time Fitness. I am baffled Shane Powers did not get on the next season.
I'll let it go. It's going to be all right. Game time.
All right.
I promise you. I'm still having, I'm having things with it, pangs.
Yeah.
But I'll be done by Monday.
Shane, you tweeted the cast looked great, except one. I would want to know. Yeah.
Dumbass. Hey, Petty Cloud Pumpkin. The cast looks sick, except for me.
All right. Who do you think was the person that took the 10th spot?
I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
Woo or Savage, right? Yeah. Woo, Savage, or Dietz. And by the way, if Dietz got it over me, I'm fine with it. And if Savage or Wu got it, the Savage did an unbelievable job campaigning, right?
Yeah.
It would be, by the way, here's the thing. It should be me and not Wu. Like if I'm the guy if I have the magic wand and I'm the CBS people, I'm like, get Wu out of there. Put Shane. This is ridiculous. The Wu guy's a super sweet kid. What an unbelievable energy.
Nice, very nice guy.
I would want to hang out with that guy once a week and have him teach me how to surf, and I would be into his vibe. He does not deserve to be there over me. He does not. That's impossible. And guess what? The fans don't agree.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. Put him on.
Super sweet guy.
And he has a name that was easy.
Good branding. Wu.
He had a lot. He has a lot going for
Best
him.
Asian-looking man in the history of Asian. There is not one good-looking Asian man in the world except for Wu. I mean, that. You don't want to walk that my back? Buddy Greg. No. There are no good-looking Asian men.
Yes, there are.
The Chu Young fat dude, Bruce Lee.
Yul Kwan.
No, hold on. There's 4 good-looking Asian men in the history of the world.
No.
Yul, Wu.
That's not
Bruce
true.
Lee.
That's not true. Have you met Daniel Liu?
No.
Come on.
There's 4 good-looking Asian men in the history.
Stop.
Stop. No.
Put your glasses. You dropped your glasses. Put your glasses
lots
back
of beautiful Asian women. There's 4 good Asian men ever.
That's not
in the history of the world.
That's not true. You need to see more people.
I don't. I'm pretty sure about that. 5. Okay. I'm sorry. There's 5 good-looking Asian men in the history of the world.
I'm going to introduce you to some more.
By the way, before you get all PC, that's called a joke. And if you don't like that kind of humor, don't go to the radio show in the morning.
Yes. Michael Norris wants to know, will you go back if they guaranteed you were making it on?
Done that.
Okay, and you didn't have to go through the casting process. No, that's it.
Done that.
That's it.
That one's a wrap. They've already tried that one. Bags packed.
Okay. All right. This is from Almost Famous, who wants to know Shane in Boston for Amazing Race.
No. I'm not a reality show junkie.
Yeah.
I'm not a guy that's trying to fucking get famous on reality shows. The Survivor is the ultimate game. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick, and then we'll stop talking about the game. Is the first 15 seasons, 13, 14 seasons. There was, and even, how about this? It was even the first 8 seasons of Survivor was a game. And oh, by the way, they were shooting it for television. It's all different now. Now it's a television show where a game breaks out. And that's the biggest difference between the old school and the new school. I don't want to go on a show to be famous. I want to go on because I love the game of Survivor. You can, it's not like Amazing Race. No. So you have this Phil guy yelling at me.
All right.
Off.
Brent Walgamon wants to know, does Shane blame CBS for putting so many recent men in the pool? Do you think that it should have been more spaced out in terms of?
I mean, how about this? Maybe they did the thing with the pool. Maybe they could do I don't know. No. Look, I looked at the 32. I thought I was a lock. I'm delusional about the fan base that I had, but I felt unbelievable all the way to the point before I sat. I thought I was a lock until 4:00 yesterday afternoon. How could I be mad?
Yeah. I'm mad.
Are you really?
I am mad about this. Saf Zach says, Shane, if you could pick the cast, who would you pick?
That cast is great.
Yeah.
I would put me in instead of Wu. That T-Bird girl is before Monica. I'm trying to think. Maybe Troyzan before Keith.
Yeah, I think the Keith thing doesn't bum me out because I feel like you
you want to talk about a lovely man.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
And
nice
he
guy.
Fits a mold. He fits a character role.
You need the old guy.
Soft, gentle, old guy doesn't really know what he's doing, but
he's wacky.
Matter of fact, not afraid. So I'm in on him.
Yeah, I feel like that you have the wacky old guy in Keith. You don't need the wacky young guy in Wu.
Is Wu wacky?
I think he's wacky. Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't exactly know what's going on. Okay, this is from.
By the way, I don't ever want. And again, this is only because it's not the Shane show. It's not my caricature of me is not out there. I don't want anybody on that cast to feel bad at all about getting onto that thing. Like I don't want.
Oh,
and I'm sure they don't. But like no, but to come home and
none of them do, and none of them will. That a month and a half from now,
not even
they're all. Yeah, they're not even gonna. Nobody's gonna ever watch 100%. This. Okay. This is from Shari Geller, who says, some of us did look for your name first when the list was posted. Was there anyone that you would have targeted?
You mean when I was out there?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I would have gone after Spencer. I would have gone after. Hold on, shit. Sorry.
It's a long 24 hours.
Spencer, Sierra.
Why Sierra?
Because I know she's up to no good, and
Yeah.
I know that she's smart enough to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
She was a threat. So Spencer, Sierra.
You know, it took her a long time. Like there were people who were, you know, there was like a couple of waves of people that talked to me. And she was literally the last person that talked to me. And, you know, I feel like some of the people that just didn't want to talk to me, I felt like there's either they felt like they didn't need me, or it's like they didn't want to like show their hand, which makes me say they had a hand. You know what I mean?
And
like,
who were those last people?
Spencer and Sierra.
Right. And those two are working together 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've reached out to Monica, and I believe that Vetus might even be in on it.
Yeah. Well,
that's my guess.
There's some connective tissue there. You know, there's nothing
Monica's
that links.
Mom, or they know.
Yeah,
know
well, that Monica played with Sierra's mom.
Right. They definitely have something going on. By the way, those are the only 4 people I didn't talk to, except for one of them I did have coffee with, and she kept it on the shush.
Did you talk to Vetus at all before you went?
I did talk to Vetus. We had coffee. We had a very nice time. I felt like we were in a good spot.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't have trusted him ultimately, because Vetus is still trying to prove himself to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that winning the game of Survivor in his head is going to prove something to himself.
When I talked to Terry seemed like he was down on Vetus. Like I asked him about Vetus, and Terry said, and maybe it could have been a smoke screen, but he was sort of like, you know, he's not an artist, you know, and he was very complimentary about Aris.
And he's not Aris. Aris is a good kid who has done some shit in his life. So, and he's proven himself to himself. So there's not the frenetic, and not that Vetus is a bad guy. He reminds me of there's nothing worse than a grown man who hasn't proven himself to himself. Does that make sense? Because then you're like spinning out of control. You don't really have this confidence about you. How about this? You had it for a very long time. You don't have it anymore. Like now that I'm sitting with you, you've proven yourself to yourself. You've built yourself a nice world and a thing and a house, and you got to like you're good with you, and that's important for a man.
So I'm okay with me.
You're okay with you. No one's ever going to be perfect with you with themselves. Yeah. But you've proven yourself to yourself, and I knew you when you hadn't. If that makes sense. Yeah. You were still scattered and out of your fucking mind.
Right.
I don't think Vetus has proven himself to himself. And so I think that Survivor in his head is going to be I think he thinks to himself, if I win this, then I'll be okay. And I think that makes him dangerous.
Okay. All right. Let's take a couple more questions. This is from Trevor Chung. How do you think Vetus will do? We just covered that. We just got that.
Trevor, eat a dick.
This is from Kid Lego, who says, since you are on Team Terry and Team Savage, are there any females from the cast you're rooting for?
I mean, are there any females?
Were you just looking to bro down on this thing?
I mean, how about this? There was for me, there was a little reverence for Kelly Wigglesworth. Yeah. I actually stood up
because you got along better with the guys in Panama than the women. That you were butting heads with Danielle, and again, it might have been the women that you were with.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney was a bummer, and I was also I was 34 and had been unchecked in my life for years. So it was like people aren't acting the way I want them to. Roar! Yeah. So that was a different guy. Yeah. I have a reverence for Wigglesworth. Just she's the reason we're all here. Yeah. She's the reason why you and I are talking. Like you could make a case that you need to write her a small piece of your check and send it to her, because without her and Richard and Matt doing that, this doesn't happen. That easily could have been Utopia. That show, right? Yeah. Nobody could have. Yeah, no, they got it. That first season. I mean, so many things. Be Utopia without them. So that she should not have even been voted. They should have just racked her on. And the show has had such a Mark Burnett has had just like a horseshoe
up his his ass with so many things through the
By
from
way,
the people.
He's so checked out
Yeah.
on Survivor.
Right.
He doesn't even know. He hasn't seen a Survivor. He hasn't been to an office. That guy is just like goes to his mailbox and is picking up $1 billion checks. I would imagine.
Yeah.
And it's all left in Jeff's hands. And Jeff's not.
Did you see Mark yesterday?
No, he wasn't there.
No, I heard he was there.
He didn't come into the back.
Yeah.
To the second chance thing, which I think is weird. Wouldn't he have said, "Hey, good luck, everybody"?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to a couple of people that he was on there. He at least did the red carpet, and he was there.
He might have done the red carpet, and got in his car, and gone home.
Maybe I'll watch it at home later.
If he
I don't need to be here.
If he created the show and he's there, I would imagine that he would have popped his head in and been like, not talk to anybody specifically, but just been like, "Good luck, guys," because that's what he did. And didn't he do that to you?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That's what he. Yeah. No, Jeff is running that ship. That's Jeff's show. And Jeff's. By the way, we all treat Jeff like he's Zeus, and with that show, he is. But Jeff's a human being, and at some point, Jeff's got to be tired of this. I think Jeff doesn't. I think Jeff hates going to dinner parties and going, "Oh yeah, that's the fucking game show host," right? Because I think he's tried to get the talk show crack, and that isn't working. I think he wanted to do the Regis thing. That hasn't happened. I think he's hoping to be the Howard.
To me, I feel like, though, that he was in a place where I think he tried for so long to get away from it. Like, he wanted to get out of the orbit or get out of the gravity of Survivor. And he was like, I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm going to direct a movie, and I'm going to go
do Survivor. He's come back,
and I think he's sort of
fate.
Yes, I think he's sort of come back to. I think he hates to go away, but I think he's at a place where, okay, well, I'm going to just go away for 3-4 months out of the year.
And he can rationalize it in his head. Like, I'm not the guy in the goofy shorts going, Survivor's ready. He's now the runner of the show.
Right. And I'm going to make how many million dollars a year?
Millions.
And if Survivor goes away, what's Jeff's next job?
There is no need. I have $30 million.
I guess so. So this is a retirement plan.
How about this?
But he's not an old guy. So
he's not an old guy, and he seemed for the first time, and I've seen this. He seemed. I guess he seemed like he was really enjoying being in charge. I guess.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the last time I saw him, he seemed super happy, and it seemed like he was in a really good mood about everything.
Great. Well, God bless.
Yeah. Did you feel like? No, that was the case yesterday.
No, yesterday he didn't. He seemed tired, and he seemed like a super.
I think they just got back also from filming this last go around. And,
I think he was very much into when he has to put on the garb.
Yeah,
I think it probably still, and it says like I think he's probably like, fuck, I'm the showrunner to one of the biggest properties in the history of CBS.
Yeah, and
14 days a year, I got to be the world's brightest Carson Daly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's probably where he lives in his head on nights like last night.
Yeah.
So
a lot going on. All right. Let's do Zero Yams. Please ask Shane what Max said to him after he found out he didn't make it.
Max was very sweet, very complimentary. Max was fucking sad. Max was blown away that I wasn't on.
Yeah.
And he's a sweet kid.
Yeah.
Him and I would never vibe out. He's a little too awkward for me.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't also been around him when he was drunk. Maybe he chills out a little bit, but he's not trying to hurt nobody. He's just a really sweet kid.
Yeah.
And I think he was pretty shocked I didn't make it.
Yeah.
I think he was like, what? No, what?
Yeah. I saw him posting on Twitter. He was very
he's a sweet kid.
Yeah. He was very bummed out. Okay. Let's go to Nicholas Hartman, who says, I'd love to hear Shane's thoughts about the idea of the fan vote. Is it an appropriate way to cast seasons? Was this
100%. 100%.
It was a good idea.
Well, how about this? Have you seen that cast?
Yeah.
Minus me, that's a fantastic cast.
Mm-hmm.
So the fans got it right.
Mm-hmm.
Almost. Like, but if I'm the CBS dudes, if I'm Jeff, if I'm Lynn, I'm like, man, that's going to be a fun cast. Yeah. It's going to be a great season.
Do you think a year from now, are they doing this again?
How about this? I don't know. They better not call me because I'm definitely not in.
Definitely not in.
That is a great cast.
Yeah.
Though this one is going to be a blast to watch.
Yeah. You're excited to watch this.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been excited to watch Survivor in years.
Are you going to say, when any of these people come home, are you going to say, Terry, tell me how it went? Do you want to know?
Well, no. The 4 people that I'm involved with or was involved with, and now I'm no longer there, I'm going to want to hear everything that went down. Of course. I'm going to want to hear it all.
Okay.
100%.
All right. Then this is from Z near X. Shane, did anyone lend you your wooden BlackBerry? No, stop. There's no jokes, Scott.
No, you can joke. That one's just boring. That one's a terrible joke.
Okay.
My wooden BlackBerry the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Michael GMO, what are your thoughts on Culpepper?
Met him exactly how I figured. He's a lot.
Yeah.
He's a lot. There's a lot going on. He is adamant that he is there's a lot. And he doesn't seem very, I don't know what's going on with him, but he does not, he seems conflicted. I don't know what that is. I don't know how that is. He doesn't seem like a bad guy at all. He definitely is used to having shit his way.
Yeah.
Right. At home, his life with football, like he's used to having his stuff his way.
Did you see him after that he didn't get on? I heard he was pissed.
I mean, I don't understand how that guy could be pissed because he didn't do one piece of social media.
Yeah.
That's just, his woman reached out to me who I've never spoken to.
Monica.
She DM'd me and was like, this wonderful maternal, beautiful girl. She was like, please, Brad's not like that. I wouldn't be with a crazy person. Like she was reaching, she was like doing the thing for him. I don't know. I have not spent enough time with Brad. But Brad just seems like a lot. And he doesn't seem resolved, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's not a great guy.
Yeah. He was in a tough spot last night, too, where, there was 2 spots left and they go to him in the front row. And it's him between Joe and Spencer.
I would have gotten up and left. I would have been in on the joke and been fun. I would have been like, I just would have been like, I would have looked at Jeff and been like, come on, dude. And just walked out.
Yeah.
And that would have been the way to get out.
It was almost like, they almost put the seats in a way that there was like no drama when they got down to that. It was either poor planning or it was like that they wanted to like really like.
Did you know I was done too?
No, but I was starting to get worried.
You were doing the numbers.
I was doing the numbers, but I was so nervous watching the show for everybody that I'm like that I was.
You must have been in a panic for Fishbach.
I was really I was really nervous for. Yeah, I was the most nervous for him.
Of course, he's your closest guy.
Yeah, and I really like Spencer too, and I was nervous. I was nervous. But I wasn't nervous for him. But Steven, I was just like I know how like Steven, like in just talking with Steven, he really went back and forth of should I do it, should I not do it?
Do I
wanna?
Wanted it.
He really wanted to do it, but he was really worried he wasn't going to do well. And he was also worried about like, oh, should I leave my job if I
know, but this is only going to help him with that brand. What's he? People Magazine Survivor?
No, he has a day job. He has a day job, and he had to leave his day job, and he was worried.
He's a sweet kid. He's a sweet kid.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna go
well for him.
I don't think it's gonna go. I think he's got an uphill battle.
He's in big trouble.
Yeah,
he's in big trouble. I don't know if. How about this? Him and I talked a lot.
Yeah.
Him and I talked a lot pregame.
Yeah.
He was not in those 4 people that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But he would have been definitely somebody that like the second I hit the island, I would have reached out to him and been like, yo, and maybe not unveiled all of it, but I would have been like, I would have kept him because I feel like he was so nervous and worried that I think if you would have just offered him any type of safety, you would have had him for at least for like 12 days.
Yeah.
Then he gets his feet under him and he starts to see what's going on, and then you'd have to be worried about him making a move.
Yeah.
But for the first 3 or 4 tribals, I would have swooped him in.
Yeah. I think he'll be okay for a little bit because he's not, and he's also like you have the perception he's a nerd, but he's actually like strong. Yeah, he's a bigger guy. He's not like Cochran out there. He's not like.
I thought maybe he'd been lifting.
Yeah, that he may have. I think he was doing I think he was training.
He was like, you could tell he like might have had that like weird nerd man strength.
Yeah,
where you like lift a fucking Volkswagen, like sort of like on a special
like the crew team. Yeah.
You know those kids that are like mentally challenged? that some kid they just have that weird fucking. Have you ever
Shane?
Hold on.
Let's go. Tell me about Asian men again.
Dwarf's hand. Have you ever? Because those midget small people, I don't know what the word is for them now. That's politically correct. They have weird strength. Steven seems a little bit like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably why I lost the casual vote. But if you,
Jesse wants to know. What's that?
Am I lying?
About I don't know. That I don't know. Jesse wants to know if everybody has a pregame alliance, nobody has a pregame alliance. Is there anything to that?
I think that the one that I was talking about will splinter off quickly as shit unfolds. The 4 I was in are locked in.
Okay. All right. Let's do a couple more questions. This is from Haley Ford, the real one. Do you think that people like Kelly Wentworth and Monica have a good chance of winning due to the fact that they're not memorable as the other castaways?
Oh, do they have a chance of winning?
Yeah.
The show?
Yeah.
They don't, because they need one of those weird alpha bully type dudes to lock in with and then take to the end. Like Boston Rob, alpha, but a bully in a nice way and a charismatic bully.
Yeah.
Russell's not he's an uncharismatic bully. But those guys, like those kind of leaders, A-type leader dudes, they need a fawn, right? And the fawn, I hate the fact that Natalie Tenorelli was a goat and she just got taken. No, an alpha needs someone to follow him, because if an alpha is just walking alone, he's just a fucking lonely guy taking a walk.
Yeah,
like the second Natalie locked in with that Rob dude, they started to control things because they had numbers and safety.
Let me tell you somebody else who I think could do well this season.
I totally did not agree though when you said she could win.
Who Monica?
Nuts. No, you said Natalie Tenorelli. I was like, you're crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think she would have done well. I think Monica is somebody that you have to watch out for here. But somebody else who I think could do pretty well is Jeremy. What do you think of that?
I really like that. Yeah. I would really hope that Jeremy would get,
because he's not like one of these guys where it's like, oh, he's like you got to watch out for that. He's a big challenge beast. You don't worry about him winning all the immunities. And he's also like, he's a smart guy, but he's not like, he's a super strategist that you got to watch out for.
The older I get, also, I'm more about energy.
Yeah.
And I had to sit next to him. They had us lined up. He's a fucking lovely guy.
He's a funny guy.
He's a lovely dude. There's not a weird dark bone in his body. I just would have wanted, it's down to you or Jeremy, or it's down to Jeremy and Fishbach. Fuck it. You know what? I just like being around this guy more. Fishbach, you're gone. Like that would have been because he's.
I get it.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah. No, he's a really fun guy.
3 more days of Shane or Jeremy. Like 3 more days of Maniac or Jeremy. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Nice guy, Jeremy. I kissed him on his noggin.
Yeah. Beautiful. What about Shireen? You think that she's in trouble?
Hold on a second.
Okay. Shane's phone is blowing up. Multiple phones blowing up.
Hold on.
Okay.
My girl
saying, what are you doing? Are you seeing somebody else? Like, no, I'm doing nerdy podcasts at 10:30 at night.
No, my girl's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, Perez Hilton, Shane being left out is a national tragedy.
National tragedy
from Perez Hilton. I'm at love. I hate that creep. He's the worst human being in the world, Perez Hilton.
Yeah.
Hi, you're gay. You don't want anybody to know, but I'm going to decide that it's time for you to come out, or I'm going to tell people. Yeah. That's the worst kind of evil dude in the history of the world. That guy also talks shit about people's kids. Like that ugly 3-year-old, like he was talking about Adam Sandler and his ugly kid.
Yeah.
Like you're going to attack a 3-year-old kid. The great news, and then we'll get back. But the great thing about that is that Perez Hilton's kid is the ugliest, most fucking hideous human being in the history of humans. That's the get back. Have you seen Perez Hilton's kid? Things are fucking frightening. Scarewig.
Yeah. Well,
move on.
I'm afraid of that happening to me, so I'm going to say that
you have a pretty kid. Your
that
really
Perez Hilton's kid is good looking.
No, he's not.
All right, this is from Zool
yes,
BB.
100%.
Do you think that season 31 will live up to the expectations?
It's going to live up to the expectations. I don't know what the expectations are. I guess are the expectations like this is going to be great?
I think people are like, oh my God, it's going to be the best season ever.
Okay, this is going to be a great season, and I think that what we're going to learn is that the old schoolers are going to bring back some
normalcy.
not normalcy. They're just going to pull it out of the Instagram, Twitter, social media age, and it's going to be a really nice mix of, yo, you can't do that, and we're not allowing you to do that.
Talk to me about a couple of those older people from way back. Varner was somebody you said you didn't.
I think that Varner guy's got a shot at going, somewhat deep.
Yeah, you were taunting him this week.
I was taunting him this week. He seemed, he is. I was around him yesterday in the green room. Oh my God. Infectious energy.
I'm happy that he got on. I thought he was on the bubble too. We didn't know if it was going to be
definitely in. I guess. Well, I thought I was.
But again, if it was just overwhelmingly the people that watched the TV show, we're talking about a guy that was on the show 15 years ago.
Right. And by the way, he deserves it over me. If it came down to Varner and I, he fucking hustled 1,000 times harder than I did with the campaign.
He worked hard.
Fact, math is math. He deserves to be on, and I deserve to be here.
What about Kimmy?
Kimmy, I don't know about her.
Yeah. I think she's going to be fun TV.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think she's going to be fun. She's sort of like a loose cannon. I think she's going to be fun.
I don't know enough about her.
Yeah. Abby Maria.
She's going to be fine. She's going to be easily used. She's desperate to feel safe.
You think she's a candidate for first boot?
No. Joe is a candidate for first
Some
boot.
team, they would get rid of Joe if you're out there trying to win challenges.
If it's Savage and Dietz or Vetus, they all get each other and go, wait, this guy didn't deserve it, and fuck off, get him out of here. Because this guy has no connect with
if there's
any of the older
anything
people.
That Survivor veterans hate, it's the new hotness.
Correct.
Is that fair?
Correct. How about this? Not entirely, because I guess Shireen's not hot. Is that what you mean by good looking?
Yeah, but what I mean, the
color.
new hotness is like Cochran would have been like the new, like whatever the next
whoever
new
the next
thing
guy
is. Yes.
First of all, I don't think that Joe guy is the next guy.
Yeah.
At all. That Mike guy is amazing.
Yeah.
Joe will be gone soon, 100%, and that's not anything other than he's like the 13th bad version of Ozzy. Like Ozzy's, you know what I mean? And Ozzy walks into a room, he fucks anybody he wants because he's got the thing. This Joe guy is a little bit on the man bun. He's a bad version of Ozzy. Sweet kid, but not. He's gonna go very quick.
Yeah. What about Malcolm? And I know he's not on this cast. You like Malcolm?
I've never met him.
Yeah.
He seems like a very sweet guy.
Okay. All right.
Isn't maybe a man? Maybe this guy Joe is the Z version of Malcolm.
I think so.
He's the Z version of Ozzy.
Yeah, I think he's more of a Malcolm than an Ozzy. Mr. Bink says, anyone from previous seasons that you went back that
weren't in the pool? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. They'll figure that out. But I really hope they give that T-Bird and that Jim dude a shot.
Yeah.
If only for putting him through that torture.
Yes.
And Troyzan. Those three definitely, they should ship those guys back on.
Okay.
Put them on a Heroes, Villains, or Blood Wars VOD or 8.
Yeah.
Or,
All right, let's do a couple more questions with Shane. And then Nate Hall says, do you think that people like Spencer and Kelly who didn't make a push for Pregame Alliance have more overall longevity than people who have?
I don't have any idea how that. Can you read that again?
If you didn't have a Pregame Alliance, will you have more longevity for people that did?
It depends on the Pregame Alliance, right? I think that the one that I picked, the one that we've got that they have going on, is solid. I feel like the other one could splinter at any time if people.
Are you aware of other alliance?
Just the two.
Okay. What you had going on, and you say this?
There's something going on with Sierra Spence. I know.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't know, but I can vibe when they were all I can vibe the whole thing.
All right. Burn this wants to know: did Superfan Shireen lose her mind when she saw you?
She is very into me.
Yeah.
Very sweet. She took a selfie of she's a lovely human being, and she's the perfect color, Rob. Her skin.
Yeah.
Whatever that brown, black, white, like the
olive skin tone.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And a lovely human. And she was blown. She was fucking freaked out that she couldn't believe that I didn't make the show either. She was like, that's insane.
Yeah. I believe she said in her interview with me that she would give up her spot for you.
Well, that's very sweet of her.
But she said, it was it was talk.
I would never want her to do that. She's not allowed to do that.
All right, let's take one more question from the people watching. This is from Coach Sofa Cushion. Do you think that Cass or Kelly Wigglesworth have the biggest target on their back for the ladies, and why? Let's do one. I mean, Shane, this is the last time Shane is ever going to talk about Survivor Second Chance. Do we have one really important question, Scott?
I think that Cass has got herself into real trouble because everybody on the island knows that she's reached out to everybody.
On top of that, I think she's in. That would be my pick also.
Cass is the first boot.
Yeah, and again, I think I picked her for first boot on the season she was on last time. So
no, she is 1,000%. You hear it first.
She's not good. She's not great in the challenges.
She is the first boot, no matter what happens. She's the first boot.
Proven to people that she has issues with loyalty.
No, she's the first boot.
Yeah, I think she's got an uphill battle.
We're done with it.
Okay.
First boot is Cass.
Okay. This is from Amazing Race Top Fan. Do you think Terry has any chance at making the merge, or is he too much of a challenge threat?
No, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Shane, what else?
This was fun. No,
that's it.
Good. Yeah, I definitely am not. I will tweet and I'll watch the show next. If I didn't mean, like, when I said I'm never talking about Survivor, this is a funeral for this whole, because everyone wanted to know and the thing, and I'm just, as far as my process with Second Chance, I will never talk about it again. Insofar as no other press outlet's gonna. I'm done with this.
That's it.
I go away for the summer. I'll be an excited fan and watch the show, and then I might get fucking. There might be a night I'm like motivated. I think there's been a couple times in the 12 years where I got all fired up and I was like, "Come talk to me."
Yes, I think it was during Blood versus Water. I think.
Yeah, I was like, "Come over, I'm fucking."
Yeah. Will you? Do you have any desire to talk to any of these other 11 people or any of these other 10 people that are?
No. T-Bird and Jim just want to, and Troyzan.
Yeah.
I really just stay the course. I feel like Troyzan's definitely getting back on. I feel like the T-Bird, because of this backlash, reached this I feel like she's got a shot at getting out. I feel like this is it.
Did anybody reach out to you today from CBS? Did Lynn, anybody involved with casting, call you today? Like, I had very lengthy discussions with Lynn just about life, but I also hit them up. I just said, because trying to deal with me in this process of getting everything ready is not easy. And so I've looked at all, I hit everybody that was in charge of, like, get this and get that. And I'm like, next time I just said, listen, you guys are all great, because the people she has working for are amazing. Those women are lovely. And whatever. We talked a little bit. Shane,
this was fun.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming here. Yeah, I really this was a big thrill for me. I know that you were the ultimate Survivor get today for a guest, and
everybody.
Yeah,
I would have today.
Yeah,
for today, I was the big Survivor get.
You're a great get.
Yesterday, was not such a great get. I didn't make the show. Mike would have been the big get yesterday, right?
Yeah. Well, Mike, we talked to him this morning also, so it was a busy day with the Survivor podcast. All right, Shane, thank you so much. Shane is on Twitter at the Shane Powers.
Correct.
Okay, that's it.
And find me.
All right. Thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for watching this live. Shane's got his smoke. We've got. I recorded a 2-hour podcast recapping everything from the finale last night with Josh Wigler. That's going to be up on Friday. Evolution of Strategy Volume 2 is dropping on Friday. So plenty of stuff. Check it out.
Survivor of Idiots, Season 9. Saturdays at 4. Ethos of Edge Navagic on Mondays at 2.
Yeah. All right. You know where to find it. robbinswebsite.com. Take care, everybody. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. Bye. I'm going to turn this off.